Had me a missus once. Not a classy unit like yourself. Opened up her throat and bled her like a pig. Hung her out there in the shed for a month. Christ, what a stink. I had to put her through the mulcher in the end. You know why I stuck her? I guess I just didn't want to see her suffer like all the others.
Hi, this is Brandon Ford.
And g'day, this is Tony the Tiger, aka the Thunder from Down Under.
And welcome to another edition of the Blind Rage Podcast. This time around, we are doing Storm Warning, some more Ozploitation, directed by Jamie Blanks. Are you excited for this one?
It's been a while, but I enjoyed watching it the first time I saw it, so yes, I am looking forward to it.
Yes, and Jamie Blanks is responsible for Urban Legend and Valentine and no, did he do the second one? Urban Legend 2?
No. He did a movie called Long Weekend.
I was going to ask about that because I was looking at it on Amazon and it sounds a little weird.
Okay, it's a remake of a 70s. Yeah, I've seen it.
Is it good?
It's a slow burn, and I enjoyed it. But yeah, it's more of a creepy environmental film.
Oh, so it's no Wolf Creek.
No. It's just this couple, this yuppie couple from the city go into the wilderness, into the beach, and they just start wrecking the environment around them, and like the animals start sort of fighting back in a way.
What kind of animals? Do the kangaroos kick the shit out of them with
No,
their giant feet?
there's a creepy animal. I think it's called a dudong, which is like it's the type of seal.
Oh, I know what a dudong is.
You've seen Boogie Nights.
I have.
It's like a type of seal, but like it through the movie it sort of screams through the night, and they don't know what it is, and it's been a long time since I saw it, but it's good enough.
Speaking
it's
of
got
movies,
Jesus in it.
Oh, Jesus is good.
Jim Caviezel, is that his name?
Jim Caviezel. Speaking of movies, what have you been watching as of late?
Well, actually, I've been watching more mini-series, and I said it like that. So I watched one called Holston, which is about the designer, and I'm currently in the middle of watching The Outsider, which is a Stephen King adaptation. And how about you?
That's it? You don't have any thoughts?
Well, I reviewed Holston on Letterboxd, and I reckon I gave it 4 stars. I quite enjoyed it, and Ewan McGregor is in it playing the lead designer. I was going in with kind of low expectations because it's a Ryan Murphy, but it's a Ryan Murphy production, which I think made it better than a Ryan Murphy show.
I certainly hope so. And The Outsider, how are you enjoying that?
I am enjoying it. The story actually reminded me a little bit of his older story, The Dark Half, which, if you ever saw that one.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, because with some Stephen King, I feel like he has repeated some
He has. He
storylines.
definitely has. Yes.
But at least I'm happy that it's not, that same route. But it's good and creepy, and I don't mind Jason Bateman, and Ben Mendelsohn has been good in it. But actually, I was thinking how there's quite a few Stephen King movies or books where a young male child is a victim in it, whether that be The Outsider or Pet Cemetery, or there's a few I'd listed in my head the other day. Even The Shining, it's like Dr. Sleep.
Yeah. He explores a lot of the same themes over and over and over again.
That doesn't bother me. If you can reinvigorate it, then fine. But if it's the same story, then there was one he did.
Sometimes it is.
Yeah, there was one he did called 1922, which I did not like the movie at all. It kind of reminded me a little bit of like Dolores Claiborne in that vein, but obviously not the same movie. But
I don't know if I saw the movie. I don't think I did. But I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, Thomas Jane.
yes,
Very, very easy on the eyes, that one.
yes.
But that novella was in one of his collections. I think it was Full Dark, No Stars, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure.
I think it was that one. But if that's the one, that collection, all of the novellas in that one were made into movies. It was A Good Marriage and Big Driver. Or no, wait, was the last one? I don't know. But I remember 1922 just veered off into weird territory with the rats.
Yeah, I think it could have been a good story. I think I would actually, in that case, maybe blame more the filmmaker than I would Stephen King.
No. It's the source material.
I don't want to get on the wrong side of Stephen King.
It's from what I remember, it stays pretty true to the source material, and the source material wasn't very good. So yeah, there's that.
And how about yourself? What have you been watching of late?
What have I been watching?
And of course, I've been watching The Nanny.
I do. Too much, actually. Well, I have some revisits. A movie called Bloodthirsty that I've seen many, many times. I wanted to check it out again.
Mm-hmm.
It is a very low budget erotic thriller about starring Monique Parent and Leslie Dannon and Julie Strain, R.I.P. And Monique Parent plays a woman who is, I wouldn't say she's very well off, but she's got money.
Yeah.
And she takes in boarders, and they are her donors, because she's a vampire, but she's not a vampire in the traditional supernatural sense.
Okay.
She uses a razor, and she drinks the blood that way.
Yeah.
And if she doesn't, it's an addiction, and if she doesn't, she gets very ill.
Yeah. Okay.
But I think the screenwriter wrote it with something else in mind than what was produced, because what was actually produced is kind of a Skinamax movie, and there's a lot of very
Okay.
lengthy and explicit sex scenes
Yeah.
that I think the movie could have been a lot better if done without, because I think it's well written and I think it's very well acted. And I even left Monique a message. I've said this before on B Movie Bonanza, but I left her a message on Facebook several years ago, and I said, I just wanted to tell you how much I enjoyed Bloodthirsty, and I thought you and Leslie Dannon were both great in it. And she responded and she said, "Wow, you're one of 5 people who actually saw it. Thanks," which I thought was nice. But yeah, I've seen that a lot.
See, what that story annoyed me for the fact that I've been messaging local play producers and none of them have gone back to me.
Oh. Well, if it makes you feel any better, this was a long time ago. Another movie that I revisited was a documentary called Horror Movie, A Low Budget Nightmare, which was the making of Red Christmas.
Really? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It has it's all about Craig Anderson's from his inception to finishing the play to getting financing, all the things that he had to go with in order to get Dee Wallace, because there are some stipulations as far as getting actors who are American and part of the Screen Actors Guild to your guild, which I think is RIA or something. And
Okay.
you have to get permission, and they came very close to for her to not being in it. And there's some behind the scenes stuff of them shooting. It was really interesting to see how Dee Wallace got into character with some of the more emotional scenes. And one of the characters in it has Downs,
Okay.
and he's a friend of Craig's, and he wrote the character specifically for him. And he also has to have a really emotional scene, and he never really had a very good relationship with his father, and there were a lot of times where his father said that he wasn't good enough, and kind of blamed his disability on him and was very cruel to him.
Mm.
And he said that he wanted to use that to get the emotion, and Craig was like, sure. And off camera, he was playing the role of this guy's father and saying these cruel things to him, and it worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then it didn't stop there, because after the movie was finished, then came getting it sold, which was another endeavor in itself. So yeah, it's a really interesting documentary.
So you got to learn about the Australian film industry a bit.
A bit. A little bit, not
Well,
very much.
I've said before, the actors and the creatives don't get as much respect as they should do in Australia. A lot of people have to leave to get their success.
Well, I think there might have been a couple of Americans while working on the
Yeah.
project. But yeah, well, I mean, as far as the technical stuff, I really don't think that he knew. It was a lot of trial and error, we'll say. I mean, like, he knew the business because he's worked a lot as an actor and as a comedian, but as far as creating his own product, it was foreign to him, and he was, learning as he went, and he was over budget a lot of times, and it was like him going to his family for loans, and but he got his movie made, and he got the movie made the way he wanted it. So
Yeah.
and it got sold.
I'll have to
And he
give that
got
one a look at.
circumcised.
And it's not circumcised.
I said, and he got circumcised.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, as if he wasn't having enough issues with getting the movie made, he also had the I'm sure you know exactly what it's called, but the condition with the tightening.
Oh,
of the
yeah, whether you
foreskin.
can't pull the foreskin back.
Yeah.
Okay.
And, yeah, he had to get circumcised
Yeah.
while he was in the process of getting all this done. And there was a moment where he was walking around on set, and he said, I'm trying not to get excited because I have stitches in my penis, which I'm sure was very pleasant. Oh.
Well, I mean, after you got circumcised, you couldn't walk for like 6 months.
I was like 5 days old.
That's the joke.
But no, I just realized something.
What's that?
Shut up. We just recorded another episode before this one, and I didn't do any fucking plugs whatsoever. I did nothing. And you know what? When we started the movie, I was thinking to myself, I'm forgetting something.
Well, actually, I thought the same when I brought up my own Letterboxd account, just in this one. But then,
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay,
do your
well,
plugs.
I have to do my plugs. Yes. So we're going to get into Storm Warning, but before we do, I would like to encourage everyone to check out my books in paperback and Kindle editions by going to Amazon.com or the Amazon app on your smartphone, typing in Brandon Ford. There you'll find my titles as well as my Amazon author page. If you click follow, you will get email notifications whenever I have a new release. If you prefer audiobooks, you can check out my works on audible.com or the Audible app on your smartphone, typing in Brandon Ford. I have about 11 titles up at the time of this recording. If you don't already, please follow me on Instagram at writer Brandon Ford, on Twitter and Letterboxd at Brandon Ford. You can also follow Tony on Letterboxd at Tony_the_bear. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, critiques, suggestions, recommendations, you can contact me directly at blindragepod81@gmail.com or the Blind Rage Podcast Facebook page. It only took me a year to get a Facebook page for the podcast, but it's finally up, and there's even a little player on there, so you can go through all the episodes, all the back episodes, and listen to them right on Facebook, which I think is pretty nifty. If you don't like to, because I know there are certain people who like to listen to podcasts on YouTube. I don't understand that, but if you want to just listen to, on your laptop or whatever, you can do that.
And share
You don't have to have it. There you go. And lastly, and if you're on the Facebook page, please like and subscribe, and please don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on your chosen podcasting platform. Did I get everything?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to take your word, because sometimes you do lead me astray.
Well, you didn't mention your OnlyFans.
That's true. So if you want to see my new tricks,
Your puppetry of the penis.
yes, I could do the hamburger. I can also do the
Wristwatch?
I wish. Anyway, all right, so we're going to get into Storm Warning. Mm-hmm.
The 2007
watching...
Australian film.
Yes. And we are watching the unrated version that was released to DVD here by Dimension Extreme. Did you get it in Australia?
I think we might have. I think I remember the DVD cover saying, like, to that effect.
What, Dimension Extreme? You got
no, saying that it was like
Extreme
the extended edition type of thing. The unrated, yeah.
Yeah, this is the 86-minute unrated. The theatrical is 82.
Yes.
So if you're watching along, please make sure you watch the unrated. And I don't know where to find it. Probably on Prime.
You can see it on YouTube, but I'm not sure if it's the unrated one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I've been looking for some Dimension Extreme titles, and I haven't been able to find them on YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you could find it on YouTube, watch on YouTube, or you can just listen to us jibber jabber. All right.
All right.
Here we go. We are going to get into Storm Warning in 3, 2, 1, play.
I remember I used to love seeing the Dimension logo because they were producing all of my favorite horror movies at the time.
Well, not me.
No, I know.
No, and I know not because of the reason that you're thinking of, but to me, initially, I associated Dimension with they did a lot of really shitty straight-to-video sequels.
Oh, okay.
In the early 90s, like The Children of the Corn and Hellraiser and shit. And then they started, they had the rights for Halloween.
Oh, okay.
And they did Curse, which was...
Was there a Halloween 666? Or is that Children of the Corn?
That was the original title of Curse. It was originally called... That's the producer's cut, which is different. And it was originally called Halloween 666, The Origins of Michael Myers.
Yeah.
And then it got tweaked and was retitled Halloween, The Curse of Michael Myers. And either way, it's a shitty movie. But it's got Paul Rudd looking all cute. So if you want that...
I was remember there was one with Tyra Banks in there, wasn't there?
It's another one that is universally despised. That is Resurrection. I don't know anyone who likes Halloween Resurrection. I've literally never met anyone who said, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
Never. Yeah. I've met people who say, I don't think the Rob Zombie movies are that bad.
Yeah.
But
the only people who like it are the ones who get to use it as a distraction to their own bad movie.
It's true. It's true. She's French.
Mm-hmm. She was born in Marrakesh. Very thin road.
I spoke to your mom this morning.
You spoke to my mum? She's devious, my mother.
So are you familiar with this actor here?
He apparently has been in a lot of Australian stuff, but not really stuff that I'm too interested in. He was in the Wolf Creek TV show, which I never got to see.
Because I'm the best. But
He was also in the crocodile movie Rogue
no more.
and a South Australian
Rogue?
horror movie called Coffin Rock.
Well, I'm an artist.
Coffin Rock.
Coffin, yeah, like, you know, what you get buried in.
Like the Blair Witch Project, Coffin Rock?
Oh, I don't know.
Well, that's where Rustin Parr, the mythical Rustin Parr, I think some of his victims were found or something
Okay.
on Coffin Rock, and they talk about it in the first one.
Yeah.
But did you say he was in Rogue?
Yes.
Because that's another Dimension Extreme.
The
movie. I
crocodile
actually
movie.
have that one.
The Greg McLean movie.
I guess it's a Dimension Extreme. I never watched it.
Yeah.
But it came in a set. There's a Dimension Extreme 6 movie set, and it's got Black Sheep. And
Oh, okay, yes. It probably is then.
some other stuff in it.
Lake Placid?
No. But I was surprised. This was a pretty low budget
Yeah.
affair. But I was surprised at how much, well, first of all, how much they were able to accomplish with the minor budget that they had, but also how much CGI is in this.
Oh, yeah. Well, we do have a pretty good post-production unit companies in Australia. I think in Adelaide is the they did a lot of the Harry Potter stuff, if I'm not wrong. But
Well, this was shot in
What's wrong with this boat? Full handcrafted timber boat.
24 days,
yeah,
and that is excluding the scenes that were cut. So there was a few more days, but they didn't. Yeah. And only 5 of the days they were on location.
okay,
Everything else was a soundstage. The whole shack where Jamie kept calling them rednecks, which I was surprised by.
That's
'cause I
a-
didn't
that's a
think
term up here.
Australians. I didn't think you. I thought you just said bogan.
there's a different. Bogan is, I'd say, more suburban.
Oh. It was funny. I think it was either Jamie or I think it was Jamie. He said that he wanted to work with Robert Tyler, and he was originally considering him for the lead bad guy,
Poppy.
the father.
Yeah.
Poppy, yeah. And his his wife said, "Well, I wouldn't mind being raped by him." And so he's like, "Oh, okay. So maybe not."
That was like my
So-
attitude of Reese Witherspoon's in Fear. I wouldn't mind being stalked by Marky Mark.
He does nothing for me.
I thought you had a busy weekend.
Never did anything for me.
You've dropped the Chapman case,
Well, we can't win. Their word against hers, son. Yeah, we dropped the case.
but they robbed her.
And I say they didn't do it. It's a problem.
And
It's always denying it's a real bitch.
so yeah, there's a lot
They're up to me.
a lot of CGI in this because they had to constantly remove
Sweetheart, can't we just...
So you get robbed
things.
just to get it? All stacked against you? Sorry, Mrs.
I think
Tough turkey, yeah?
they passed it already, but there's a shot of them driving down a road and they had to reverse it to get another angle.
Come on, reel
but they couldn't afford to shoot it again.
Oh, okay.
So they just went back in and they reversed it and they CGI'd out all of the road signs.
Yeah.
Don't kill him! Don't do that! Don't kill him!
Flathead.
That's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, that's fishing, baby.
Lord.
And the wife, they originally had in mind an Asian actress.
Okay.
I can't remember her name, Margaret something. But that was who they wanted originally, and
Weather's changed. She's north.
what's her name, Nadia
What's happened to our nice sunny day?
something.
Faris. Faris.
Yes.
Let's go back. It's getting
Nadia Ferris. She was really, really interested in the role. She really liked the script and she really wanted to do it. And Jamie Blanks flew. Well, first he saw some of her other movies and he thought she was really good. And then he flew to Paris and he had a meeting with her. And they liked each other, so she was hired.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know how this would have fared in the final product, but the original there was a scene that was shot as the opening, and it was her in like some kind of workshop and she's working with metal
Oh, okay.
and she's like really good with her hands.
Sort of
She's,
explain
like,
things later,
assembling all-
yeah.
Yeah, so it's supposed to show how she's able to, you know, make all those traps and shit.
Yeah.
So it doesn't come out of nowhere. It was shot, but they cut it for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, maybe they just wanted to get into it. But something, and I don't want to come across as strange, but isn't one of the traps she puts like a metal can up into herself?
I can't.
Or like-
I don't remember.
Oh, or something that.
You mean to cut his dick
Yes.
off? A jar. Yeah. Poppy, she does that too.
Yes.
I don't know if Jamie was joking about this, but he said that in Africa, part of Africa, they are really selling mechanisms like that.
See,
and-
I thought I heard a rumor that there was something similar to that in a movie called Shocking Asia.
Shocking Asia is a documentary.
Yeah.
There's two of them.
Yes.
I used to see them at the video store all the time, but they looked a little too out there for me. So yeah, no. Well, maybe it is Asia. But supposedly, what the thing does, it doesn't cut it off, but it clamps down on it, and it can only be removed by a surgeon.
Sort of like a jigsaw torture
Kind
chamber.
of. Yeah.
No, but that's why I think it would have been offensive had the wife been Asian, like if that were the case. That's why I was
Oh, that's true.
didn't mind her being French.
That's true. But interesting story about that scene. After post-mortem, Poppy, or the actor who played Poppy, he was well, first of all, everybody was afraid of him anyway because he was a really big guy and he was a former boxer. So
Wasn't
whenever
he the
saw-
dad in The Loved Ones? Or am I thinking of the wrong thing?
I don't know. I don't know
Yeah.
him. But the makeup that he had to wear was basically just a underwear with the viscera attached to it. And on the day that they were filming this, two of the producers' sons, who were about 10, decided to show up on set. And the actor who played Poppy caught sight of them and said, "Hey guys, you ever seen a naked man before?" Yeah, and they were not amused with what they saw. So, and neither were the crew, because they kind of flattened themselves against the wall whenever he had to go to report to set wearing that thing. Whenever I take a drink, I always hope that you're going to say something, but you never do.
Sorry. I wonder why they didn't go back the way they came. I didn't realize that they went through the mangroves to get to...
Don't they get lost?
Yeah, but they suddenly went through the river system as opposed to going back along the coast.
Oh, you're asking the wrong person about this. I don't even know if I've ever... Well, I might have been in a sailboat when I was little, but I've never been in like a little boat
Dinghy.
like that. A little dinghy, a little motorboat, anything like that.
In primary school, we did a thing on a catamaran, I think it was.
Yeah, these scenes on the water were the trickiest because of the tide and the light and they said it was like
All of these cloud
it was
shots.
like worse. It was worse than quicksand, because if you walked in it, you would immediately start to sink, and you couldn't get out. And the lead guy, right there, Robert. Is it Taylor or Tyler?
Taylor. Well, that's how it's written.
Yeah, he said that he got out of the boat for something, and Jamie was like, "Oh God, I'm glad I didn't see that, because I would have had a heart attack." Because I guess not everybody knew how dangerous. But yeah, but it was, for a low budget movie, I thought it was really interesting that they built everything on the soundstage. They got the stairs from a bar that was being torn down. They actually had to wait for that.
Okay. Oh.
Because they weren't being torn down. It wasn't being torn down when they thought.
Yeah.
And then when they came in, they were like, "Ooh, come here, the stairs." And at this time in particular, Australia was under a severe drought. So, with the exception of, I think, the shower and the water rolling off the roof, all the rain, it's all CGI.
Yep. Yeah. I thought you were going to say that they weren't allowed to use actual rain, like use wet water for things.
No, they had a sprinkler for the roof, because they wanted the droplets to roll off the edges. But even then, they were careful, because they could have gotten in trouble.
Yeah. Oh, or they might have had drainage underneath to collect it again. It'll be fine. Yeah. Oh God.
He's got a nice accent. What do you think of him, Tony?
Is not really my type.
Why is that?
I don't know. I'm trying to put it into correct words. He
you're
just
trying to
wasn't
be
the type of
politically
person
correct?
who I'd associate with.
Oh, excuse me.
Maybe.
You're saying he's beneath you.
No, I think he would think I'm beneath him.
Oh.
Like, he comes across as someone at a party who'll talk about what he does for a living. They've got a neighborhood watch sign, which is funny.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a joke.
Yes.
They said that.
It's like having a safety house sticker.
Yeah. One of the biggest issues that they had with this movie was the baby kangaroo.
Oh, okay. In regards to what, finding it, or
It wasn't real.
Yeah.
It was animatronic.
like creating it? Yeah.
Yeah, because they said it's like impossible to get any kind of Australian wildlife. I guess there's a
to
lot of permits
domesticate it.
got to go through. Yeah, and that. But yeah, they had to make an animatronic, but that was battery powered and was remote controlled.
Yeah.
But it kept getting mixed. The frequencies kept getting mixed up with their headsets and stuff. So it was doing things when they didn't want it to do things, and vice versa. So they had to CGI a lot of the eyes blinking, and not a lot, but some stuff.
Yeah.
And the dog was a nightmare because there's two of them.
Yeah.
Um,
Any port in the storm?
There's one scene toward the end where I think it's the dog eats Poppy's dick. And the only way they could actually get that to happen, because the dog's name was Honky, by the way.
Honky tonky.
Honky 1 and Honky 2. There's two of them. But yeah, they didn't listen. And they were, always running around crazy. And
They had to film it in reverse. Is that right?
no, so they had to the dog had to eat the dick. And so the special effects guy had to make a puppet head, basically.
Yeah.
And it's a close up of the head eating it, and it's just, his hand moving the jaw.
Yeah. Like, I imagine that they did something similar in Suspiria with the dog biting the blind guy.
Oh, this is the funniest thing I thought was the funniest thing in the commentary. I got a big chuckle out of this. It's not until later, but when they go up to, I think it's either Poppy's bedroom or one of the boys. In the script, there were supposed to be Nazi flags and Nazi paraphernalia, and not good stuff.
Yeah.
And so one of the it's either one of the writers, or the writer, or one of the producers said to Jamie, so he was supposed to be a Nazi and apparently a fan of Eli Roth. And Jamie was like, all right, well, that's where I draw the line. Nazi, that's fine. But Eli Roth fans, no. Will not have
That's
it.
too corrupt for my movies.
Exactly.
Did you enjoy the movie though? God.
Did
Turn
I
off the
enjoy it?
light and then
Did I like this?
Yeah.
Yes.
I liked the end. I felt it came around at a time where there were a few depressing horror movies, and I liked that it had a happy ending. Like,
Well, I like. It's not utilized very often, but I like when you have a female character that's a badass like she is.
yeah,
And because he can't do anything
no,
when his legs get busted. He can't move. And you think that she's gonna be totally vulnerable until she starts in with all the traps and stuff.
Yeah.
And then she turns everything around. And there's a good moment, and it's in the trailer when she says something like, my father always told me to defeat a mad dog, you have to think like a mad dog, only matter.
was the trailer a teaser trailer?
There's a few.
Yeah,
There's a few
I feel
different
like the only one
ones.
the only one I remember was it was a voiceover stuff, but the image was of like a can being cut into, like her booby trapped can.
Well, there's a few different trailers on YouTube. One, I don't know what was going on because all I heard was rain.
Yeah,
And there's another one with a voiceover that's one of the boys, and he's talking about a pig or something.
yeah, that was the one I reckon. Like we did it like a
and
pig or something.
then there's the extended one that has all the action sequences and stuff in it. But Jamie also said the actors who played the boys surprised him a lot. In particular, let me get his name. I think it's
David Lyons, Matthew Wilkinson.
yes. I think it's David Lyons.
Yeah,
Because he said he saw him in the waiting room. Well, he said they were both really, really good. But David Lyons in particular surprised him because he saw him in the waiting room and he just looked like this, this sweet, soft-spoken guy. And he was like, oh, this isn't going to work. And then when he brought him in, he completely changed. He even changed his face around. Like he had an idea for the kind of looks and gestures that the character was going to have.
yeah,
And he knew right away that he was going to be able to do this well.
yeah.
You like kangaroos, darling? Yes.
Well, I think comedy actors especially know how to maneuver their face.
Yeah, that's true. And that's where they say with stand-ups, you're not supposed to have the microphone in front of your face. It's supposed to be below your chin because your face
It's also telling a story.
part of what...
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Please, if you could just take us to the nearest phone.
I really think this is incredible the way they did all of this on a soundstage.
Yeah.
And some of the crew people, one of the crew guys, he said that he kept forgetting that they were indoors because he said he kept going out on the veranda to have a cigarette.
Yeah.
So what about the actor who plays Poppy? What do you think of him?
I think it is the dad from Loved Ones. I just need to get a better look at him. And he wasn't attractive, he's not my type.
No. Well, no. Not even physically.
This place, Tankerton, just take us to a hotel.
I still have yet to see him, but from what I remember him in Loved One, he reminded me kind of like who David Lynch might cast as a villain. He's got especially in the Twin Peaks.
John Brumpton.
Yes, John Brumpton.
There's got to be some way we can contact someone.
Come on, Slick.
Jimmy was cast in a series in America, but it was a 10-episode series, but got cancelled after 9. So mustn't have been very good.
That doesn't happen very often, but when it does, I remember there was a sitcom. I forget what it was called. It was a single camera show. I think fuck, I can't remember. It was like some actor who was in like a lot of comedies.
Yeah.
And I think it was the Indian guy from the Harold and Kumar movies.
Okay.
And they all lived in this complex that was basically for single men or divorced men.
Okay.
And Men was in the title. I don't remember. I can't.
Not like Men in Trees. No.
Men in Trees. That's what it was.
Wasn't that with Anne Hesh?
No.
Oh, what was she in?
Wait a minute. Maybe. Hold on.
You know, the Indian guy, I reckon it's him. He recently came out as gay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which is nice.
But anyway, whatever the fuck the show was,
Yeah.
it got canceled after 3 episodes, right?
Yes.
And at the time, Queen Latifah was doing her talk show, and she taped like I don't know, a week in advance.
Yeah.
So he went on her show to promote it,
and
it had already
cancelled.
been canceled.
Yeah.
It was already canceled by the time it aired.
Well, there was also that
interview.
show that you told me about, Butterscotch.
Yeah, the one with
the 2 girls.
Parker Posey.
Yes, that's the one. And 6 Feet Under. Florence, and not Florence.
Lauren Ambrose.
Yes.
Yeah, that was a really good show.
But coming back to The Nanny, I think that got cancelled before the final episode. That the ratings had just gotten so bad that the babies were never seen on telly.
I wonder why.
Where you going?
Just wait.
No, please.
It's interesting when sometimes it happens where shows that are popular and they have a long run, and for whatever reason, whether it's a slight dip in the ratings or the network just feels that the show has run its course and they just decide to cancel it, and then they do it over the summer and they don't tell
Yeah.
anybody.
There's
That
no
happened
resolution.
Yeah, that happened with Gilmore Girls. They didn't know.
Yeah.
That happened with Married with Children.
Okay.
What else did it happen with? I know it happened with a handful of shows that were popular and did have were long running.
Yeah, yeah. Did you watch the reboot of the Gilmore Girls?
I did not.
You break into our house.
I watched the whole 7 seasons,
To our private fucking
but it really got on my nerves when she got a little too, the daughter, she got a little too privileged.
Yeah.
That's what do you want?
Because it was like the whole appeal of the show was the mother's struggle,
Yeah.
Oh no. Because
and that she didn't want to take anything from her rich parents.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the fucking daughter is like on yachts with these rich pricks. It's like, oh, this isn't Gilmore Girls.
Just going back to this movie, it's sort of reminding me of what Toby Hooper was saying about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where he sees it as it's a case of people invading the hillbilly's house, and so like they're acting in self-defense.
it's hard enough to
That really, like, Leatherface didn't go out tracking down these people; they all came to him.
shit can. You are an inconsiderate bastard.
And it's a bit of that leftism versus the hillbillies.
You let the shit all the way through this fucking house. You let the tap running outside. You've wasted half a tank of water.
This whole exchange is very, very tense.
Yeah.
Because you don't,
Your old lady like
you know he's going to turn. You just don't know when he's
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
turn. And how bad it's going to be when he does. So, I like that, the way they did this with the building of the suspense. There was a scene, I don't know when the hell Poppy comes in.
Well,
there's
you
a
saw him, but
scene-
they put him away somewhere, I reckon.
Oh. Well, he's trying to intimidate the wife. And he's like, nose to nose with her or whatever. And you don't see it because Jamie cut it out because he said it made him uncomfortable. But he's twisting her nipple
Yeah.
like the whole time when he's like talking down to her, and they made a fake one. It was
Yeah,
like a-
yeah. He wasn't actually
prosthetic.
doing it.
Yeah.
Qui vont s'endormir. Et avec un petit peu de chance, on pourra partir de cet enfer. Je t'aime.
Oh, I heard I love you.
She's saying if she can give them enough alcohol, they might get drunk.
It's a
It's a Gaelic folk song. Mothers sing it to their children.
my cup's empty, cat.
Though I did like that she was bilingual.
And French. Shit.
Hey, Volvo. I want you to show us your old lady's ass. Let's see if that's as good as an Aussie ass.
It's gone far enough.
You just want to see your old lady's booty like we did you a favour, now you do us a fucking favour. Quid pro fucking quo, mate.
Get it.
So what do you think of the Suns?
You telling me what I can and can't do in my own.
I think
fucking house, Volvo?
they're menacing. I know it's weird. There's a balance between like menacing and just mean. And I know that they're mean characters, but I guess it's something that I liked about 70s horror that I don't like about modern horror is like the sheriff in the Texas Chainsaw remake is just such a presence.
Arlie
I didn't
Ermy
like it.
being Arlie Ermy.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas these two, they've got the meat and the real like aggressiveness, but I find like you can see that they've got a dimension that they're not showing. That they just, there's you can see
Yeah.
a family dynamic.
Yeah.
See
I agree with that.
It took a while for me
They're
to
a
get
little
there.
more complex.
Yes.
I mean, they're hillbilly, but at the same time, there's depth to their character.
We're hungry. We want to know what the fuck you
They may not be the smartest, but you know.
Well, I mean, my hometown is an industrial town, and so it kind of reminds me of like when you're in a mining city, all you have is like the miners' mentality, and then they drink. And so
Yeah,
I feel like
Miller
they're-
time.
like maybe their personality is so based on their
Don't kill things.
marijuana crop cultivators,
Well,
and that's their business. So
guess we could just stay in the little fucker while he's still alive, eh, Brett? I mean, hell, he remains second.
Yeah, and they had to use a blue screen for that for the plant.
they borrowed it from the beach.
Well, they said the sky worked as a good blue screen a lot of the time.
Okay.
But because it was so clear a lot of days, or the days that they were filming outside. But I remember everything was blue screen before green screen.
Yeah. Well, that was the line. Oh.
I remember seeing the making of The Craft, and they were doing the scene when they fly through the window.
Oh, okay.
In Sarah's dream, they had to
Yes.
do that with blue screen.
Oh, yeah. Some of the blue screen in that was a bit young.
Well, it was a low budget movie too.
No, but this was lesser budget. But I think blue screen at the time was in its infancy.
Yeah, the technology
Yeah.
technology really wasn't there,
I'm an artist.
especially not for low budget movies.
Yeah.
But I think with what they had, it turned out really well. And you know what?
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter at the end of the day because you had a strong story and strong
Yeah,
performances,
exactly.
and I think that far outweighs any special effect.
I many months ago watched a double feature with at the Mercury Cinema, which is they do nights that's run by film students, and they played some sci-fis from the 70s, and the amount of comments that it got about how bad the effects were, and I'm like, you really should be appreciating the movie more than these effects. If you're film students, you should be able to get past this easily. And understand that, 70s models for Logan's Run are not as good as effects nowadays.
Well, when you're film students, you're supposed to be watching like Nosferatu and shit, because you're supposed to be studying where film came from and how it evolved.
Yeah. Well, this guy, it was part of a thesis or something. He had selected these two movies to do a study on, and he was just screening it for his fellow students and the public to watch.
Mm.
Liar, liar, pants on fire.
This got a lot of criticism for similarities to Wolf Creek.
Lay down your weary head, son.
Well, it really, Wolf Creek really opened the door for a lot of Australian horror to re-emerge.
It did. That they said that's why they were able to get financing.
Yeah.
Because of the success of Wolf Creek. But the script for this was written
in the 90s.
in like early 90s. Yeah.
And it's an American
They-
screenwriter, you were saying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. But we haven't seen
Jamie Blanks said, I think it was the screenwriter.
the whole band is
they went to film school together.
Okay.
And so I guess the American, what was his name, Arabic something?
Yeah.
I guess he went to film school in Australia.
I wonder if it was originally supposed to be set in like Florida or something.
I don't know. I don't know if they wrote this with the intention of it actually being made. It might have been just part of an assignment or something.
Okay.
Voila.
I don't.
Get on, get a guard that fucking door.
I don't
Honky.
know. I mean, there's certainly a lot of mangrove swamps in Florida,
Well,
but
what made me think
I don't
of
know.
it?
But I don't know if you would be able to find a place that's as deserted as this is supposed to be, because
Yeah.
you know, there's
Louisiana.
maybe. They shoot it in Pennsylvania. There are so many tiny little towns here and so much unused land. And then you got the Mennonites and the Pennsylvania Dutch.
And the Amish. Or is that the
Well, that's-
Mennonites? Yeah.
Well, Amish, it's all the same thing.
Oh, okay. I got treated to a dinner with the Amish once when I
Oh
visited.
my god, did they smell?
No, they were fine. They were simple folk.
How did you manage that?
It was part of a tour. Like it was part of, they did a business where they would do this for bus tours.
Oh. Ooh. Jeez.
Good boy.
One thing Jamie kept saying about these two guys was one of the main reasons why he wanted to cast them was because they had that look about them, like you could see that they're bad, but if they had been brought up in a totally different environment, in a totally different way, with a different father, maybe they could have turned out differently.
Yeah, yeah.
Skipping out without paying the tariff. That is against the law, Slick.
Okay, if you guys are growing weed, I smoke pot. Lawful incarceration is a major crime. You need to think about what you're doing.
Didn't they just kill someone? Like,
Fucking lawyer. You gonna sue us, frog fucker?
Frog fucker.
oh, because she's a
That was
Frenchie.
uncalled for. I know, I got it. Jesus Christ.
Although the only time I ever ate frogs was in Hong Kong.
What's it gonna take?
No.
How much?
No.
100,000?
What?
The French are called frogs as a slur.
Oh, it's not to do with their frog's legs.
No, I don't
Okay.
think so. No, they do eat snails
Yes.
and horse
Yeah.
and rabbit.
Yes.
You want a drink, darling? Oh, oui, merci.
Did you see that video it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago of Cardi B having like this gourmet dinner in Paris with escargot?
Oh, no.
And she was like, I don't know how to eat it. What is it?
She's worse than
What is it?
Shannon Doherty and Jenny Garth.
Non, Rob, ne bouge pas.
It was worse than Pretty Woman.
She's 2 months pregnant.
Is that right? You knocked up?
No, all of the proteins you mentioned I've had before. I always think it's good to try something once.
Not me, no.
Making a difference to you?
There are certain things
Yeah, well,
that
Fred here, he ain't fussy.
I've never eaten, but
I don't think he's ever had a
I won't try them because they just look and smell so disgusting.
Yeah.
And they literally make my skin crawl. Like tomatoes.
Oh my god! Sorry, I was thinking you were going to say like lamb's fry or something.
No, so I'm telling you, I'm as finicky as it gets when it comes to food. Any kind of fish.
Yeah. Here's Poppy. And no, he does not do
No.
it for me.
No, you don't want
No.
none of that. You don't want none of that big box or.
He's in like a real what's that bloody called? Like pajama wear.
Oh, you mean like long johns?
No.
What's this?
Yeah, these two busted into the house.
That's not true.
What's she doing half naked?
You guys spell in the English. You spell pajamas different than we do.
With PYJ.
Yeah, we spell it PA.
Yeah.
Why have they tied up?
I think it's either or. It's interesting. Like, I think it's a bit funny because you think for a second the dad might be their savior.
What about Xavier?
You think for a second their dad might be there to sort of help the couple. And then he goes, why aren't they tied up?
Oh
And it's
no,
like,
I didn't think that at all. I didn't think that at all. You know, I
Found something to roll.
I remember I saw this. It was a recommendation. A friend of mine told me about it. When it first came out around the time, and I got it from Netflix, the DVD.
You ain't gonna run off on the same.
And then I completely forgot about it.
Yeah.
That'd be dangerous.
I don't know what, but I don't know what made me remember it recently.
Yeah, because you were the one that brought it up.
Like your period coming over your
I did, yeah, because I bought it.
goddamn party if you're on the hands. Don't like that, see?
It was another one of my
And,
DVDs that I had, but was taken.
Oh, every time you think of mention that, I always go to Irreversible.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Irreversible is gone forever.
and the situation lives up to its name.
It does. It's ironic, isn't it?
Don't you
You
think?
with your long legs, walking on your legs, flipping your hair.
See, you Sabo,
You just had to squeeze one in.
I told him, shut the fucking shut up!
See, I just been out to the back shed.
One of my favorite things to quote
Maybe an intruder.
was the scene at the prom with Justin Theroux.
Fucking sprinklers on.
Why are you tormenting me? Why don't you go fuck a sheep or your sister or yourself? Brain dead redneck asshole.
See, I used to just quote the line before, oh, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
We're gonna have a little fucking.
Oh, that's toward the end. You were right. I was a brain dead redneck asshole.
Yes, that time, that
Well, I
scene
never
at the prom,
split a sheep
yes.
for my sister. Yeah, that's at the reunion.
Look at what we're gonna
do with him in the morning? Give me a drink.
I wonder because
What do
you
you think
mentioned.
of Justin Theroux?
He's cute. He's got an interesting appeal. No, because you'd mentioned before how Jamie held back on some of his other gore, and it makes me wonder. I wonder why he didn't try directing a different genre. Not from the get-go, but like, let's say his next movie could have been a drama or a comedy or something.
I don't know. Well, I think he always wanted to.
Or at least do a thriller where it's more psychological.
I think he likes the movies, and I think he always wanted to because he wanted the job for Scream initially.
Oh, to direct Scream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it didn't have a director attached
Yeah.
initially. And then I Know What You Did Last Summer was coming up, and he wanted he wanted the job for that. And then he made the fake trailer.
Yes, I remember that. The director of I Know What You Did Last, they didn't really go on to do much.
Gillespie, Jim Gillespie.
Yeah, that's right. But in the horror, they didn't stick around too long, did they?
No, I don't think so.
What are we gonna do about it, Pop?
Got the Last Supper picture up on. And I do very much like that she isn't helpless. There's nothing that makes me dislike a movie more than having helpless victims.
That is, for me, the whole appeal of The Final Girl.
Yeah.
I like strong female characters. I can't stand female characters who are shrinking violets. Can't do anything. But I like the dichotomy between them and the stronger ones because it makes the stronger ones look that much stronger.
Yeah.
I always thought it was so fucking funny when the slasher boom started and Siskel and Ebert were saying how misogynistic these movies were and that they were an answer to women's liberation, and it was the directors telling women to get back in your place.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have careers. You shouldn't be working. First of all, slasher movies, the majority of the time, the female victims were teenage girls, not, 40-year-old women with careers. That was rare.
And most often the victor was the female.
Yes, exactly. That was going to be my second point. But they just chose to ignore the more important elements of the films and just concentrate on the meat.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because I think that in general, the best way you can learn strength is to see the growth. So you might have the victims, but then you have the victor. So being able to see both sides of that coin makes you appreciate the strength of the victor. If there were no female victims, if it was just male and then suddenly there was a female victor, then it's a nothing situation.
Mm-hmm. And I know I've made this point before, but in slasher movies, if you look at them, when the men get killed, they get killed a lot worse.
Yeah, yeah.
Their deaths are a lot gorier. They're more visceral. Women, you might get some boobage, you know. But it's usually a stabba.
Yeah.
Men get cut in half.
Well, I think what the women, they have better screams, and that's what makes it seem worse.
It's
The men are...
Well, as long as it's not the Wilhelm scream, then...
I guess.
Oh god, that scream annoys me so much. Well, all of them. I hate the Wilhelm. And I still don't understand why it's so hard to get people to scream. Why do you have to resort to the Wilhelm scream?
Well, I think that if they just need that extra depth of noise, they might include one.
Then you get an intern and say,
Stop
can
it.
you come into the booth? Can you just, you know... I mean, I know a lot of the time, you know, even the strongest actresses, if you can't scream, you can't scream.
Yeah.
There was one movie, I can't remember what it was. It'll come to me. But there was one girl, it was like a mostly female cast, and one girl had a really, really strong scream.
Yeah.
And they used her for everybody, for all of the women. And you couldn't I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
Until I like found out later. Like for the commentary or something.
See, I don't mind it when, but I think this happened more in older horrors, where you had people whose scream wasn't the one that you would associate much. And the one I always think about is, I forget her character name, but it was the young girl from The Hills Have Eyes. I felt that her scream was a irregular scream, but for me it worked well.
Marilyn Burns had a great scream. And Chainsaw.
Oh God, they're watching porn.
Horse porn.
B-grade porn. Oh, was it horse porn?
Yeah.
I didn't hear a... No. Oh God,
I've
that
made...
sounds like patting at his cock.
I've made confessions on here before, so I'm gonna make another one.
But keep this
but
one
I
to
feel
yourself.
like I can't. I know. I feel like I can't make this one without sounding
Oh God.
unstable.
Is that a pun?
I just think that the visual of a naked man straddling a horse is incredibly erotic.
Oh, okay.
It has nothing to do with the horse. It's the man being up,
Yeah.
and the way his legs are splayed. It's like the perfect position.
Well, I've seen pictures of guys riding motorbikes naked, and that's quite a nice visual, especially with
I've
that
never seen that.
vibrating, the engine.
I've never seen that. There is this terrible movie, and this is where I got the vision from. But there is this terrible movie that Tobe Hooper made in the 90s called Night Terrors. And it's like about, I don't fucking know. Some kind of evil entity that was like from Egypt or something.
Yeah.
And there's a scene where one of the main girl is like having this fantasy, and you just see quick cuts of this guy riding naked. You don't know who he is. You never see him again in the movie. But I just remember that scene and thinking,
Different mothers.
You're different than him.
yeah, yep, I'll have some
Yeah.
of that, please. Thank you. Yes, please.
You enjoyed that visual.
I did. I did. I haven't seen the movie in a long time because it's so
like
terrible.
the male
Oh, but
J
guess who
checker.
else? Guess who else is in it? Or guess who's in it?
Robert Englund.
Maybe your mom
Yes.
Ah!
Did you know that?
That's
Or did you
right.
just
I feel
guess?
that. No, it was a guess, but now that I'm saying it, I feel like I remember seeing that in his IMDb.
Oh. Jamie kept calling her MacGyver.
MacGyver. Yes.
commenter.
MacGyver.
I think the second iteration of that show is actually still on.
Oh. Oh. Did you ever used to watch MacGruber?
No, I never saw MacGruber. I heard it's really fun. But there's a sex scene in it, and you know that radio personality I've mentioned to you like a million times from Australia.
Yes.
Jason Ellis. When he used to have his serious show, they used to play a soundbite from the movie of the sex scene. You used to hear.
Okay.
What, have you not seen the movie? Is this news to you?
I have, but I don't remember the sex scene. It sort of reminds me more of the movie Date Night. Or Date Movie, sorry.
I never saw that one.
Where
you watch
they're
it?
imitating the When Harry Met Sally scene, but it's a guy pretending to orgasm.
Oh. Did you watch The Last Man on Earth?
The show, no. I watched some of it, but not all of it. Was it good?
I think I watched. I was alright. I think I watched like the first couple seasons, 2 or 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And then, first of all, the show was called The Last Man on Earth, but then they kept introducing new characters. Like,
Yeah.
where are these people coming from?
Well, that was Matthew's been watching Under the Dome, and I didn't want to watch that at all. But and that's something where they started introducing more characters in the second season. And I'm like, where the hell did these people come from?
Did they redo it, or is it the original one?
The Stephen King one.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
what was it, like 10
years ago?
or
Yeah.
so years ago?
No, it was I feel like the season 1 is the book, and then they started adding to
You
it.
hear the horse now? I hear
Yes.
the horse.
No,
now.
I saw a picture of it. I saw it. It was in
Oh.
the visual.
See that? Wait, that right there?
Yes.
That's Wilhelm porn.
Oh, really?
moments. Yeah, I've heard that a lot. I
I remember I did it wasn't a play, but well, a friend of mine asked me to write a play for a cabaret thing that they were doing, and so I wrote just some comedy thing about this couple, and one of them accidentally gets lip balm stuck up his ass, and he needs to get someone
Oh.
to fist it out of him.
Oh,
And in
for
the end,
God's sake.
we decided not to do it, but to just record it as a sound, and it played like through the night. But I remember having to fake orgasm noises.
Oh. And when it came out, did it make like the
That's what,
pop like a lollipop?
Yeah. No, I don't remember.
You worry me sometimes.
Oh,
Hey?
Didn't you say that there was another Wolf Creek coming out?
Yeah.
When's that one coming out?
I'm not too sure. But yeah, he's sort of really dragging that character out.
Yeah, I saw the second season on Amazon on Blu-ray.
I think it's quite funny because Mick is a Australian children television presenter.
Oh.
So that's how I grew up knowing him. He and his wife would like cut out, little shapes of coloured paper and make little flowers, do
they
an
were like
arts and crafts type of thing.
Oh. Oh, okay. I can't remember that guy's name, but we had, yeah.
John Jarrett.
Maybe. He was like a paint. No, not Mick.
Ah.
No, I'm talking about a show we had here. He did a children's painting. So I can't remember his name.
Ross.
Yeah. I think that's him.
Jonathan Ross? Is that? No, that's someone else.
No, Jonathan Ross is an English
Yes.
talk show host.
Ross Noble? No, I know who you're talking about though. Utica tried doing him in Snatch Game.
You don't mind, do you? For Bobby.
I could just imagine them going to the shops to buy lipstick.
I think that was this whole thing was his idea, the actor.
Yeah.
And this was around, I think, this scene too was where he was pinching her nipple.
Oh, this is the son. Is he? He doesn't
Oh,
do
it's
the
the
nipple
son.
pinching. Yeah.
Oh no. No, I clearly have no idea what I'm talking about. There's one of the producers or something in the commentary. I think when they were getting her costume fitted or something, he said to the who did he say to? The makeup effects.
Yeah.
Guy, he was like, oh, my God, because she had like a sheer top on. He was like, does she have to wear the fake nipples now? Could you take them off? Because they're distracting. And he's like, she's not wearing them now. If I was her, I would have been so embarrassed.
Actually, it's funny. I wore a long sleeved white shirt to a night out, and in the photos the next day, my nipples were out in force. It was like embarrassing. And then
That's why you got to wear an undershirt, dear.
but then the photo I put up got the most likes I've had. So.
Don't you have any tank tops?
Yeah.
Well, then what's the problem?
I don't. Well, I don't mind showing a little bit. I just didn't realize how perky they were. They looked like like to a bank robbery.
Oh my God. When I was dating the guy who was in musical theater.
Oh, okay, yes.
Yeah, he was in musical theater. Did you ever hear of they made it into a movie, the play, what the fuck's it called? Diane Keaton is in it. Sister Mary something explains it all for you, something like that. But yeah, Diane Keaton is the. Oh no. I'm totally wrong. No, because they did 2 plays. They did the actors. It was the same night. They did the actors' nightmare first, and then they did Sister Mary, whatever. I think it was Sister Mary Ignatius.
Yeah.
But William Hurt's son went to the school.
Yeah.
And he was in my ex's class. His name was Alex. And I don't remember why, but for some reason he had to come out bare-chested.
Mm-hmm.
And he had really, let's say, unusual nipples. Because, first of all, they were rock hard, and they were very slim and very pointy.
Okay. Maybe he had used suction on them.
Maybe.
Well, they're a thing.
Oh, but these were weird looking. And supposedly he wasn't gay, but there were doubts among, because like it was a musical theater. So like all the guys, I'll never forget this. I went to my part of their curriculum to graduate musical theater to get your degree. You had to put on your own cabaret solo, but you could have some musical accompaniment.
Yeah.
And there was this one guy, I forget his name, but I'd seen him in other productions that they did before, and he was really, really cute.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be straight, and he played guitar, so my ex needed him to play during the cabaret one song. And first of all, let me just say this. I'm the type of person, again, because of my insecurities and my low self-esteem, and I'm just oblivious on top of all that, I never know if anybody's flirting with me or checking me out. I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a nice line. Yeah, but after the
Carry on.
After the show, you know, my ex was like saying goodbye to people, and I don't remember his name, but he came up to say he had his hand out to shake my hand, and I shook his hand, and I went, see you, whatever your name is, or no, I said it was nice to see you.
Yeah.
That's what I said. And he literally said, and I swear to God, it was nice to see you. And I'm thinking to myself, did that just happen? And I told my ex, and he didn't believe me. But I remember them.
Yes. The nipples.
That was the,
The best part of the show. What would you do for a cabaret performance? What's an example of a solo cabaret?
Talent. I don't have any talent.
You each have talent.
I can't sing. I can't play an instrument. Maybe a dramatic monologue from Romy and Michelle's high school reunion. I used to love. I always loved the Kids in the Hall in general.
Oh
but
yeah, what was the candy one that they did?
Brain Candy. I
Brain
love that
Candy,
movie.
yes.
But
the big
they always
guy
had really good. They
coming
always
out
had
sequence.
good monologues.
Yes.
On the show. I'll do something from Kids in the Hall. By the way, in the room, or in the Disaster Artist rather, when Greg meets Tommy in his acting class, it's really not very clear exactly what drew him to Tommy, but he just thought he was very unusual.
Rightly so,
And
yes.
he wanted, but like, I don't know, he just wanted to befriend him for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
And so, like, after class one day, he said, would you like to do a scene? And so they met, and they went to a bookstore to find a play. And Greg had all these plays by accomplished playwrights.
Yeah.
And Tommy was like, no, I want to do this one. And it was a play that Greg had never heard of by an Australian playwright he had yet to ever hear of
Yeah.
to this day. And there was only the 2 copies of the play in the whole place. I don't even think he says what the name of it was in the book. But yeah, maybe it was one of your. No, I'm kidding.
Ah, yeah.
See this fucking honky?
Yes.
This bitch was vicious. That's why Jamie didn't like him. And that's why there's a Honky 2. Because Honky 1 could not behave himself.
Yes. Beg my pardon.
What the fuck was that?
That was an internalized sneeze.
Okay, first of all, you're not supposed to do that.
Well, I'd rather do that than sneeze outright on the podcast.
Well, you could turn your head and maybe get a tissue like a normal person. I had a little cousin who used to do that all the time. It used to drive me crazy.
When I have the opportunity, I do a good sneeze, but sneezes.
Well, if you're sneezing, it's because you have something up your nose that needs to come out.
Yeah.
And you're pushing it up inside your brain.
God, it's bloody hillbilly music. All done by Jamie
I know.
Blanks.
He said he was going to go full tilt Deliverance with this sequence.
See, and that propeller, I forget what they're called, but that's so Florida to me.
Yeah, and he said too, he co-wrote the music. They had to keep changing it, because it was a year in post-production,
Yeah.
and they kept editing it, re-editing it, and then the music that they had already they'd already written for the scene didn't go with the scene. But he's a decent composer, and I like the music that plays over the end titles too. He's a multi-talented guy.
Well, it reminded me of John Carpenter with doing the music.
Well, he said in Valentine that there were some music and some sound cues that sounded very Halloween-esque.
Yeah.
But it was unintentional.
Well, I didn't realize how similar to me they sounded a bit similar, just probably because of the punchiness was Halloween and The Exorcist music.
The tubular bells.
No. The like the there was a my mind is blanking on the proper word for it, but when you play a note but punch it as opposed to that it echo.
It's like a 2/4 something or other.
Red tracksuit guy.
This is very porno-y. I like it.
Well, it sounds like something they'd used in the movie Sliver.
It does. You have a good ear, mister. Except they would have had that
Honky's real name was Puss.
Aww.
Yeah, Puss.
Do you like Sliver?
I don't mind it. But actually I want to read the director's wrote a biography and he said how much he hated working.
Really?
He didn't like, I'm pretty sure he didn't like Sharon Stone.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think
was
she
a
liked him
nightmare
back either.
She was a nightmare from the early 80s. Even before, she broke big.
Yeah.
God,
what's his
the book is totally different.
Oh, yeah. I've heard that, yeah.
I always fucking hated the ending. To Get a Life.
Because that was a similar type of thing where I think the ending was changed at the last moment to who was the killer.
Yeah, I think so. Well, in the book, he tries to kill her.
Oh, okay.
Because he's not just a voyeur. I don't think the what's that real shovel face looking guy's name?
Tom Berenger.
Tom Berenger. I don't think that his character is in the book.
Okay.
But yeah, because he had been the killer in the movie.
Yeah.
And William Baldwin was just monitoring everybody, which in itself is fucking crazy. But no, his character was the killer, and he tries to kill her at the end, and she's hanging off the balcony and shit. In the snow or in the rain.
Yeah. Philip
the
Noyce.
book was pretty
That's
good.
the director.
Who?
Philip Noyce.
Philip Noyce.
Noyce. Well, he's an Australian, so that's why I say it like that, because it's Noyce. That's nice.
And he wrote
Different,
a
unusual.
book about Sliver. He wrote a book about Sliver.
No, he did he directed the movie.
What the fuck? You just told me he wrote the book about making the movie.
Oh, yeah, he wrote a book, because he's the director. He made the book, he wrote a book detailing his experience in making that movie.
Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah. That's what I'm asking you.
Yes.
What's the name of the book?
Let me just look it up.
Oh, for God's sake.
Book written by...
Oh my God. I forgot you don't know how to Google.
I just type it like that. Oh no.
It's like the time that I was asking you to look up the gross for
Yes.
Crush. Figuring that you were just going to go to Wikipedia. And I hear you typing The Crush 1993 gross.
All right. Anyway, you keep talking while I'm looking stuff up.
I don't know what to say. Now I'm distracted by your big nipples.
Ah, well, they're very distracting. You can go onto my website and find them. He did Dead Calm, if you ever saw that movie.
I did.
And that
did
was,
see
I
that.
thought Billy bloody, what's his fucking name? The villain was
Billy
cute
Zane.
in that, yeah. Oh,
He has not aged well.
No.
At all.
although in saying that, my ex said one of my pictures I looked like a young Billy Zane, and I feel like the same could be said for me.
Oh. He started to kind of go downhill around Demon Knight.
Yeah, after that. Actually, no, I thought it was okay in Titanic.
See that god awful movie, The Roommate?
I don't think so.
Well, it was like it just came and went, and it was basically a theatrical Lifetime movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was in that. He was a teacher.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to tell you what book you wrote after this, because I feel like there's just going to be a lot of dead air while I'm trying to find it.
Oh, for God's sake!
Um,
See, this is you make things difficult.
yes.
That's what you do.
Well, because it looks at books that he's made into movies. Oh, Backroads to Hollywood might be what it's called.
So it's a book about his experiences in general,
Yeah.
not his experiences.
No,
making
not
that
just on
movie.
Sliver.
Oh, I would have thought there could be a whole movie, the whole book about making that movie.
I don't know. It was of its time. It was like the Jade, when.
I never saw Jade.
Oh, okay. It wasn't as. I don't think it was as
not
sexy
a
as the
David
others.
Caruso fan.
Oh, you don't really see it. You see
Well, yeah,
him.
that was the time of the erotic thriller. Yes.
Yeah, but I didn't find it to be as sexually good as the others.
Well, it's because David Caruso.
But he
is
wasn't.
in
He
it.
wasn't in any of the sex scenes that I remember.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, there was one I remember. Yeah, where she was. There was a naked guy, and she was sort of like had a high heel at his crotch. But anyway, that's about as much as I remember about Jade.
There's Full Frontal and Sliver.
Oh, okay. Oh, the Baldwin boy.
No, it's just a guy
Oh,
that
that's
you see for a
right,
second
yeah.
on one of the
Yes,
on
and
the
he was
TV,
he
on the
was
monitors.
he had a nice willy.
He did.
Mm.
He did.
You didn't mind
Yeah,
showing
nice
it?
body too.
Yes. All right. Well, do you have any final words on storm warning?
Um, what area is this in Australia so that I cannot go there ever?
Oh, it'd be Victoria.
No, it was Melbourne.
Yeah, that's the state.
Oh yeah, that's
the
the
state.
Melbourne. Okay. Okay. See, that's the American educational system.
Well, I remember you thought New Zealand was connected to Australia.
I did. I did.
Well,
Well, I enjoyed the movie.
mhm.
I think it, like I said, I enjoy strong female characters.
I hope people discover it through our suggestion.
I hope so. Because I know that what people tend to do, is lean more toward movie commentaries for those they are already familiar with, and I think that kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, I think the Child's Play commentaries turned out pretty fun with James, but you know, there's other stuff too.
A few
So-
undiscovered gems in the mine.
Oh yes, and there's going to be more.
Yes.
Because I like the obscure. I do.
Well, till next time.
Until next time, yes. Do you have any final thoughts?
No, I would like to thank my Recorder League premium Swedish cider for joining me, and it was lovely being here again.
That is just delightful. All right. Well, I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank Tony for joining me. And until next time, this is Brandon Ford wishing you all unpleasant dreams.